The New Testament is false. Jesus Christ or his disciples didn't even know when to keep the Passover or the Feast of Unleavened Bread. That's sad. But let me prove my point. We're going to start with the falsehood first, and then I'm going to correct it with the Old Testament. We're going to start with Matthew 26, and it says, "Now, the first day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, the disciples came to Jesus, saying to him, 'What wilt thou that we prepare for thee to eat the Passover?'" So on the Feast of Unleavened Bread, they're preparing to eat the Passover, which is totally false according to the way it's supposed to be done. The Feast of Unleavened Bread is the 15th, but the Passover they do on the 14th. But let's keep reading. Now let's keep showing how this New Testament, every book is just falsehood, man. We're gonna start in Mark 14. "After 2 days was the feast of the Passover and of the leavened bread. And the chief," that's the 14 and 1 right there, right? Let me go to 14, Mark 14 and 12, where it says, "The first day of unleavened bread, when they killed the Passover." Okay, stop right there. They're going to kill the Passover on the first day of the unleavened bread. Do you guys see where I'm coming from? The Passover is not supposed to be there. Let's keep reading though. "And his disciples unto him, What wilt thou that we may to prepare and that we may eat it the Passover?" They also not only celebrate the Passover at the wrong time, which I'm pointing out, but they celebrate at the wrong place. They said, "Go." What did Christ say in verse 13? He said, "And he sendeth forth 2 of his disciples and saith unto them, Go ye to the city, and there shall ye meet you a man bearing a pitcher of water. Follow him. And wheresoever he shall go in, say ye to the good man of the house, the master saith, Where's the guest chamber? Where shall I eat the Passover with my disciples?" The Almighty didn't say eat the Passover at the guest chamber. He said where he chooses. But I'm gonna prove that later once I go through this false New Testament and show how false it is. We're gonna go to Luke 21, and I'm gonna say Luke 22, and I'm gonna start at verse 1. It said, "Now the feast of unleavened bread drew nigh, which is called the Passover." That's a lie. First of all, the feast of unleavened bread and the Passover are 2 different things on 2 different days. So Luke 22 and 1 is some BS. But let's keep reading. We're gonna go to verse 7. It said, Then came the day of unleavened bread, when the Passover must be killed." No, the Passover was killed before the feast of unleavened bread. Let's keep reading though. "And he sent Peter and John, saying, Go prepare us the Passover that we may eat. And they said unto them, What wilt thou that we prepare? And he said unto them, Behold, when ye are entering into the city, there meet you a man bearing a pitcher of water. Follow him to the house where he entered in. And you shall say to the good man of the house, The master saith unto thee, Where is the guest chamber? And where shall we eat the Passover with my disciples?" So they're eating they're eating the Passover at this guest chamber, not at the Most High's temple, not in any holy place, but at a guest chamber. That's what they do in the New Testament, defile the Most High and whatever he does. You know what I'm saying? Now, you got to leave it to the New Testament to have some BS and to have all stories be inconsistent. Because in the book of John, during the Passover, Christ is like where is he at? Let's see. We're going to read John chapter 19, verse 13. John 19 and 13. "When Pilate therefore heard that saying, he brought Jesus forth and sat down in the judgment seat in a place that is called the Pavement, but in the Hebrew, Gabbatha. And it was the preparation of the Passover, and about the 6th hour he saith unto the Jews, Behold your king." So this time, around the preparation of the Passover, he was with the king. He wasn't even with his disciples. What happened to the what they call it, the Lord's Supper? Whatever happened to that? You know, in the book of John, man. But this is all falsehood right here, man. We're gonna prove this to be false, man. We're gonna go to the book of Numbers, chapter 9. And we going to see how it's supposed to be done. You know what I'm saying? Numbers 9 and 2 said, let the children of Israel also keep the Passover at its appointed season. This is Numbers 9 and 2. On the 14th day of this month at even shall ye keep it in its appointed season. According to all the rites of it, and according to all the ceremonies thereof, shall ye keep it. And Moses spake unto the children of Israel that they should keep the Passover. And they kept the Passover on the 14th day of the first month at even. So that's when they keep the Passover, on the 14th day, and they sacrifice it then. But let's read how they do it. Let's read when they keep the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Leviticus 23 and 5 says, on the 14th day of the first month at evening is Yahweh's Passover. That's when you keep the Passover. On the 15th day of the same month is the Feast of Unleavened Bread. So then you keep the Feast of Unleavened Bread the next day. You don't, that's what I'm saying. That's why it tells you in Exodus 34 and 25, it says, thou shalt not offer the blood of my sacrifice with leaven, neither shall the sacrifice of the feast of the Passover be left until the morning. That means that the Passover is done on the 14th, and you eat it, you're not supposed to leave any of it to the 15th. Or, in better terms, you're not supposed to leave any of it to the Feast of Unleavened Bread. You're supposed to eat the Passover before the Feast of Unleavened Bread starts. So the New Testament is telling you something that's totally false. It's telling you the wrong time to do it, as well as the wrong place. You know what I'm saying? Let me show you that in Deuteronomy. It's celebrating at the wrong place, man. Deuteronomy, I think it's chapter 16. And then I'm going to start at verse 4. It says, and there shall be no leavened bread seen with thee in all thy coasts 7 days. Neither shall anything of flesh which thou sacrifices the first day at evening remain all night until the morning. Thou mayest not sacrifice the Passover within any of thy gates which Yahweh thy Elohim giveth thee. But at the place which Yahweh thy Elohim shall choose to place his name in, there shalt thou sacrifice the Passover at even, the going down of the sun at the season that thou camest forth out of Egypt. So he said, where Yahweh chooses is where you celebrate the Passover. Not in any guest chamber as they did in the New Testament. You know what I'm saying? The New Testament is so false, and it goes against the Almighty so much, it's so easy to chop it down. You know what I'm saying, y'all? But we're gonna keep it moving, man. We're gonna keep it moving, man. We're gonna go to shoot. In fact, man, I'm gonna go ahead and go to the Chronicles where it shows where the Almighty celebrated these. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go to 2 Chronicles, and I'm gonna go to 35. 2 Chronicles 35. And 1, it says, moreover, Josiah kept the Passover unto Yahweh in Jerusalem. Where did he keep it? Alright, but let's keep it moving though, man. Let's go to 2 Chronicles 35, 6, no, let's go to 2 Chronicles 6 and 5. Let's go to 2 Chronicles 6 and 5. It says, since the day that I brought forth my people out of the land of Egypt, I chose no city among all the tribes of Israel to build a house in, that my name might be there. Neither chose I any man to be a ruler over my people Israel. But I have chosen Jerusalem that my name might be there. And I have chosen David to be over my people Israel. So the Almighty said he gonna do those things. He gonna want you to sacrifice the Passover where his name is. But I'm going to leave this at this, you know what I'm saying? And I want y'all to come back to me. I'm going to show y'all how in the New Testament the Passover was done totally wrong. Everything in the New Testament is done totally wrong. It's a shame. Stop going by this falseness, man. It's false. New Testament is false. And you can't defend it. It's impossible to defend the Greek writings because they're Greek and they're false. It's like everything else. That this, alright, man, I'm gonna leave it at that, man. Poof, pow.